This is really exciting to me because what you're seeing right now is where farming is going. And it's new, it relies on technology, but it's smart technology and a very efficient, low energy usage technology, low water usage. This is really exciting, and it's part of a larger mission that really serves people all over Middle Tennessee. This is Emily Rose, who runs this wonderful operation. And Emily, tell me, what are we looking at here?
So this is the 2017 leafy green shipping container. Freight Farms manufactures it.
It's basically the kind that you see on trucks and boats and everything, repurposed.
Exactly.
Oh, fantastic. So how big is it?
So this is a 40-foot long shipping container, and I have 320 square feet of space inside.
Okay, and what can you produce in that amount of space?
So I can produce just shy of 3.5 acres of leafy greens. So currently I have arugula, several different types of herbs, and lettuce.
3.5 acres. In other words, if it were laid out in rows on the ground, it would take 3.5 acres to grow what's in there right now.
Traditionally, you could do 3.5 acres of kind of what I have here. So I have 256 plastic towers inside. So they're insulated with kind of like a pool noodle, that kind of material with a piece of fabric.
The foam, yeah.
And so I just seed everything inside. And whenever it's ready, I just go ahead and transplant, and everything just kind of lines up in my towers.
Wow, and what kind of light? Obviously, the sun isn't in there, so what do you use?
So I have LED strips, so I use approximately 125 kilowatts a day.
That's not much.
Yeah, for inside, and so my light strips are in a ratio of 5 red to 1 blue.
Which is, for plants, that's what they like, right? That mix of red and blue wavelength light.
Yeah, it's optimal for growing leafy greens.
Leafy greens, okay. Cool. And tell me, how do you water them?
So everything inside is pretty much autonomous. I just have a computer program, and we use Agrotech for our technology. So everything is kind of watered on a cycle, and of course it's all hydroponic.
Right.
So we use about 10 gallons of water a day.
That's nothing.
Yeah, and it's just kind of a drip situation. So
10 gallons of water for over 3 acres.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So we use 90% less water than traditional farming, so we're super sustainable. And the good part about being in downtown Nashville is we're hyper-local, and everybody loves the fact that, you know, we're kind of helping Mother Nature at the same time.
Well, no doubt. That is, and you just, with the nutrient feed in the water supply, and so you fertilize that way, it just drips down those columns and feeds the plants. So how long does it take you to turn over basically from putting them in the towers to harvesting?
So my seedling trays, they hold about 200 seeds per tray. So I seed everything.
So you start for everything from seed.
Yep.
Grow it up to a certain size, plug it in the tower.
Yep, so I can take everything from a seed and then it be ready for a restaurant or for the general public in about 4 weeks.
Okay. Yeah. And so what happens with your crops here? What do you do with them? I mean, who gets them?
So we have a restaurant on 12th Avenue South. It's called Josephine's. So they sell our lettuce, so we're on the menu there, and then we also sell right here at the farmers market.
Wonderful, that's awesome. So and it's a year-round operation, right?
Yep.
I mean, climate controlled.
Yeah, so the cool thing about this is we can operate this 52 weeks a year. The only thing is with the fluctuation in outside temperature, I have to recalibrate my system every so often.
Sure, if it's bitter cold outside, you'd have to bump the heat or whatever, and if it's, blastingly hot, which happens sometimes here in Nashville. But it's such a wonderfully self-contained unit.
Yeah, so it's pretty much just city water, and then we go ahead and the pH and everything's adjusted accordingly inside.
Right. According to what, and the nutrients according to what you're growing at a time, I would guess.
Yeah.
Well, that is amazing. What a wonderful thing. And tell me a little bit about vertical farming. I mean, it's popular all over the world, right? I mean, here in America, we're just starting it. I know it's happening elsewhere too.
Yeah, so my favorite aspect of doing something like this in agriculture is I wanted to be on the new wave of trends. So with the population exceeding so rapidly, we have to start growing up instead of out. I mean, there's no other way around it.
Yeah, there's only so much land.
Right, especially in places like Nashville, where it is so heavily populated.
Yeah.
Vertical farming is really taking over.
I know, in places like Singapore, which is just jam-packed with people, that's how they grow a lot of their food.
Yeah.
You're doing it very cleanly. Not a lot of, obviously with no bugs in there, you don't have to do a lot of pesticide issues, correct? What sort of disease issues do you ever have to deal with?
Really the only thing we have to deal with would be powdery mildew.
Yeah, from the dampness.
Right. So I do spray 3 times a week, and other than that, we don't use any kind of pesticides or anything. and I'm pretty much the only person in the container. So everything.
So not a lot of contaminants going in and out.
Nope.
Yeah, and powdery mildew you can spray with some really mild stuff and control that, so you don't have to blast it with heavy chemicals.
Exactly.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for telling us all about this, and it's really exciting to learn about this new and up and coming trend in farming. You're going to see more and more of this stuff. The crops are super clean, ready to eat, and beautiful. I'm with David Goodman, who is the CEO of Rally House, which is a multifaceted operation. What can you tell me about what you do?
So the Rally Point Foundation is our umbrella nonprofit organization. The mission of the Rally Point Foundation is primarily to help people in early recovery, addiction help, or people with, who are socioeconomically challenged. We started off as a recovery home for men in Nashville who are coming out of treatment or sometimes coming out of jails or institutions, and then giving them a next step, which is the recovery home setting.
Transitioning back into society.
Exactly. So after that, 30 to 60 day treatment stay, a lot of the work that's done for people as they're rehabilitating happens outside of the treatment.
Sure.
And so a lot of times, like, just having a place to live, in that setting is where we start working with guys as they integrate back into society.
I see. So the foundation is set up to support that effort.
The Recovery Home's mission and the Rally Point Foundation's mission is to help assist guys as they figure all of those things out, but help them to make recovery the priority while also just the practical.
Not get derailed by the daily needs.
Right.
Yeah, that
so
makes sense.
The idea of the farm was to give some sort of useful or meaningful work or structure for someone.
Sure.
If they were coming out of that setting. It wouldn't be required. It would just be an option. Like, we do this, you can hang out with me or Emily or whoever's working with us at the time, and we can do this kind of work until we figure out what that more long-term job's going to be for that person.
Until they find their way back into their ordinary life. Yeah.
That's the idea.
I see. Well, that's wonderful work that you're doing. And this makes a lot of sense as a very compact and efficient way to address that. That's lovely.
Yeah, it was originally because I grew things as a hobby. Yeah, one of the reasons we thought I was interested in this was because it was kind of like a turnkey system of growing that we could immediately start implementing. Like, you learn the steps and then you apply them.
Yeah, you're ready to go.
You're ready to go.
Yeah.
So if you follow these steps, this is the result, and if you put in the right work. So that's why we did it, but it's also just a really great way of demonstrating a different way of growing food and turning like this concrete urban environment into something useful. Because prior to this, it was just, just concrete and just
repurposing a container and all those things.
And showing people, like, another part of the mission is getting young people involved in thinking about this as a viable way of growing food.
Right. I love your vision. That's really, really nice to hear. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Thank you guys for coming.
For inspiring garden tours, growing tips, and garden projects, visit our website at volunteergardener.org or on YouTube at the Volunteer Gardener channel, and like us on Facebook.